Sleepmaxxing is everywhere right now. For anyone who hasn't come across this term, sleepmaxxing is the practice of optimizing every possible variable that could influence your sleep. Oura rings, cooling mattresses, light exposure, magnesium glycinate, red light panels, sleep tracking apps, mouth tape, 12-step supplement stacks. The promise is simple. Optimize every variable of your sleep and sleep becomes the solved problem. That's a cool idea, but it don't work. If you're lying awake at 3 a.m. wondering what is wrong with you, sleepmaxxing doesn't just fail to work, it actively makes things worse. There's a clinical term for why this happens, and once you understand that, you will never look at your sleep tracker in the same way. But here's what I need to be upfront about before we go any further. Some of this is genuinely useful. I'm not here to throw all of it out. I'll tell you exactly what the evidence supports later in this video. The appeal of sleepmaxxing makes complete sense. Sleep affects everything. Your energy, your focus, your mood, your immune system, your ability to show up for work, for your family, for yourself, and of course people want to optimize it. And the biohacking world has made it feel like if you just find the right combination of inputs, the right protocol, the right stack, then sleep becomes a solved problem. But boy, are we missing some things from that framework. Sleep is not an engineering problem. It never was, and treating it like one for folks who really want to have deep, long-term rest, it can send you in the complete wrong direction. There's a clinical term worth noting here, so listen up, sleepyheads. It's orthosomnia. It was identified by researchers at Rush University Medical Center, and it describes exactly what happens when people become so focused on optimizing and tracking their sleep that the monitoring itself becomes anxiety and pressure inducing, and then it disrupts sleep in and of itself. Think about what that actually looks like in practice. You wake up, you immediately reach for your phone, you check your sleep score, you see that your deep sleep score might have been a little lower, maybe you got 38 minutes instead of 90 of deep sleep, and you feel it, that sinking feeling. The data point that just told you your nervous system last night was a failure. You carry that into your day and into the next night, and the pressure that starts to build. I need to perform better tonight. I need to fix this. And that pressure is a threat signal. And your nervous system that is receiving that threat signal at bedtime will not allow the restorative sleep. So you've now created a loop. The tracking designed to improve your sleep is generating the anxiety that is disrupting it. Every optimization makes you more aware of a shortcoming, and every shortcoming feeds the dread feeds the insomnia. I lived this for years. I was checking my data every morning. I had a spreadsheet that was like a report card, and when the numbers were off, which they often were, I felt it in my body, my chest, that familiar hollow dread. And what I didn't understand at the time was every single time I did that, I was teaching my brain that sleep was a performance, a test that I kept failing. The optimization wasn't treating my insomnia, it was feeding it. But that loop isn't even the part of the problem that took the longest to understand. The thing that actually changed everything took me about 7 years to really see. So I want to get into that. So here's the painful irony around sleepmaxxing culture that nobody seems to be naming directly. The people who it's most likely to harm are actually the ones already struggling the most with their sleep. So for a good sleeper, someone whose nervous system is basically regulated, who just wants marginal, performance gain, sleepmaxxing is relatively harmless and can offer some actual benefits. So go ahead, optimize, absolutely. But for someone who's genuinely having chronic issues with sleep, someone whose sleep has been broken for months or years, whose nervous system is already running on high alert, who already has dread around bedtime, and you wake up at 3 a.m. and you lie there for hours with a mind that won't stop, sleepmaxxing is adding that pressure to a system already overloaded. Every new protocol is another thing you have to get right. And every tracking data point is another opportunity to fail. Every supplement that stops working is more evidence that something is fundamentally wrong with you. Your body is broken, that you are broken. And underneath all of that is this core belief driving the sleep-maxxing mindset. If I can just get the right input, the right combination of things, sleep will return. The belief keeps you looking outward at devices and supplements and protocols when the answer for chronic sleep issues is almost never there, it's in here. I want to be fair because some of this genuinely matters. There are evidence-based foundations that support sleep, not as cures for chronic insomnia, but as a baseline when your nervous system is already regulated. Cool room around 65 degrees, morning light in the first hour you're awake, a consistent wake time, which matters more than when you go to bed, less screen stimulation at night, and it's the content keeping you wired more than just the blue light, by the way. Daily movement, but not high intensity right before bed. That's the list. These matter, keep them. But they are the foundation. They are the floor, not the ceiling. And for someone with chronic sleep issues, they're almost never enough on their own because none of them actually touch the root cause. So if the foundations aren't enough, what's actually missing, right? That's the question. This is the part that no one in the Sleepmaxxing world seems to want to talk about. If you aren't sleeping well and you're hyperproductive and you can't shut off your mind, always working, I want you to really listen to this one. Sleep is not something you do. It's something your body allows when it feels safe enough to let go at night. No supplement can manufacture that safety from the outside. No device can create it. No optimized sleep environment, no perfect bedtime routine can produce it if your nervous system is locked in a state of chronic arousal. And that low-level alarm running underneath the surface can come from a lot of places. Stress that you never processed, emotions that have gone nowhere for years, a version of your life that is quietly out of alignment with who you actually are, or maybe the accumulated weight of showing up for everyone and everything while not doing the same for yourself. This Sleepmaxxing trend is built on the premise that sleep is an input and output problem. Put the right inputs in, get the right output out. Optimize the variables, fix the results. But chronic sleep issues is not an input-output problem. It's a safety problem, and you cannot biohack your way to feeling safe. I remember the moment this became clear to me. I had everything dialed in, perfect room temperature, perfect supplement stack, a flawless sleep routine. I was doing everything the protocol said to, and I still was lying awake at 3 a.m. night after night because none of it, not one piece of it, had touched the actual reason my body didn't feel safe enough to actually rest. I'd spent years optimizing the inputs, and I'd completely ignored the root. The Sleepmaxxing culture has the biohacking approach to sleep is a useful part of the conversation, but it just approaches it from the biological layer. It's missing the most important part of the entire conversation, and that's about what is actually at the root, emotionally and psychologically, keeping you up. I'm not telling you to throw out everything. Use the evidence-based foundations here. Temperature, morning light, consistent wake time, daily movement. They do matter. Keep them. But then turn inward. Ask yourself honestly, is my sleep struggling because my environment isn't optimized? Or is it struggling because some part of me doesn't feel safe enough to let go? For most people with chronic insomnia, the answer is the second one. So here's one thing you can do tonight. When you wake up at 3 a.m., instead of reaching for your phone to check the time or the sleep score, put one hand on your chest and ask your body a single question. What am I feeling right now? Don't fix it. Don't solve it. Just let yourself notice. That one move, turning inward towards your body instead of away from it, it's the opposite of everything the Sleepmaxxing culture is trying to train you to do. And it's where the real work starts. There's a deeper path forward, and it's not another supplement. It's not a new device, and it's not a new sleep score. It's nervous system regulation, emotional processing, learning to actually listen to what your body is telling you instead of overriding it with another protocol. Rebuilding this relationship between you and your own body from the ground up. This is obviously not as marketable as a biohacking device. It doesn't come in a bottle. You can't track it on a ring, but it's the thing that actually works. And I know this because after 10 years of barely sleeping and spending over $180,000 looking for answers, it was the only thing that worked for me and has been the main thing that has worked for 250 plus clients I've worked with. If you're in the thick of it right now, and if you've tried everything, if you're exhausted and frustrated, if you're starting to lose hope, I want you to hear this directly from someone who has been exactly where you are. You're not broken. Your body's not failing you. Your sleep is just trying to tell you something, and you haven't found the way to listen. So learning to stop the fight and start really listening, that's when things change. And I see it happen all the time. That's what this channel is about. So if this resonated, please subscribe, share a comment below. Tell me where you're at right now. I'm going to read every single one of these. And if you're ready for real support, not just another Google rabbit hole, not another supplement, there's a link to join my sleep support community with over 20 courses, live calls with me, and a path to getting to the actual root cause of what's keeping you awake and heal it. You don't have to figure this out alone. Until next time, rest well.